And you're still watching Prime Morning. My name is Roslyn Feli, and today, during the news flash segment, we have a lot of things to discuss, especially with Parliament reconvening yesterday. Everybody's excited about it. It's the very first sitting in the year 2026, and especially after the NPP has elected their flag bearer. So we'll be talking about that and issues that happened in Parliament yesterday. And also, another good thing for some people, for others it's not, but for some people, is the name change of our international airport, which is Kotoka International Airport, from Kotoka International Airport to Accra International Airport. We'll be talking about that and even many more. You need to be a part of our conversations. Now, I just want to say a very big thank you to the one and only Franco Trading Enterprise for always having our back. With Franco Trading Enterprise, you can trust that definitely your gadgets are authentic. And make sure you go to Franco Trading Enterprise for all your gadgets, whether mobile phones, televisions, CCTV cameras. Don't worry at all. We've got you covered. We can actually deliver to you at your doorstep, and you can also buy it in the convenience of from the convenience of your home. So you can actually download the app on your phone, which is the Franco Trading app. Or for further inquiries, you visit our website www.francotradingenterprise.com. Franco Trading Enterprise, still and still phone prepare for you. Now, we also want to delve into other conversations. What am I talking about? I'm talking about the Kowa natural fruit juice. Now, yes, that's a conversation I want to delve into health, right? I want you to be healthy this year. I want you to drink natural fruits, no additive whatsoever, nothing. So for you at home watching me this morning, please and please again, I urge you, drink Kowa natural fruit juice. It's very good for you. It's made from pure cocoa with no additive whatsoever. Very sweetened already. You can mix it with even your beverages, your cereals. Because of the taste in it, it will taste good for you. So grab your Kowa natural fruit juice today and enjoy it. Now this morning, I've been joined by 3 gallant men. If I say gallant, they are very, very gallant. They are seated next to me, representing the NDC this morning. And he's seated very next to me is Matthias Alagbo. He is the Volta Regional Youth Organizer. Good morning, Matthias.
Good morning.
How are you?
I'm good, thank you.
Great. It's good to have you here.
Good to have you too.
Fantastic. All right, now representing the MPP this morning, I like his batakari and it's representing their colors. Maybe he's still in the celebratory mood. It's Atik Yakubu. He is part of the communications team. How are you, Atik?
I'm good, and you?
Good, I'm fine, thank you. And I hear you're vying for the youth organizer.
Yeah, I'm vying for the position of national youth organizer.
Fantastic.
I've been on the campaign for a year now, but we had to slow down because of the presidential. Now we're done with the presidential, so the road is cleared for all of us who want to contest as part of the reorganization of our party to also start going around. So within the next 2 months, I'll be hitting the road with my campaign team. I come with that truth and honesty. My campaign is going to be based on facts. I am going to run a campaign based on a structure that is going to build the national youth wing and propel the party to win the 2028 election. So that is my focus. That's going to be the focus of my campaign. And in talking about truth and then honesty, I've previously said that one of my would have been opponent. If he had contested, then he can talk about experience with me, and that's Michael Selbat, he's no more contestant. But if he had contested, we'll be talking about experience with me. But if he's not in the race, I hold the mantra or the word experience to myself, because I have been in the national youth wing, served under the national youth wing since the days of Anthony Cabo. So imagine Anthony Cabo to Sami Uku to Nanabi to Stella Mustafa. That's like 16 years of experience that I bring to bear.
Oh, that's fantastic. Yeah. We wish you the very best.
Thank you.
Right, and also representing... Yes, the campaign has started. It's very important. You started early, so you can win early, right? Yeah, so you start early. Richard Sumah is representing the United Party, and he is actually the Deputy General Secretary. Hi, Richard.
Hi, Madam Jocelyn.
How are you?
Very, very fine.
Great, and it's good to see you.
Good to see you too.
Fantastic. You guys know tomorrow is my birthday, right?
Oh, really?
Yeah,
oh,
tomorrow's my
then we
birthday.
owe you a lot.
You do. So those of you at home watching as well, tomorrow is my birthday, so you all owe me.
Happy birthday in advance.
Thank
to the
you
most
very much.
beautiful lady.
Oh, wow. Thank you.
In the whole wide world.
In the whole wide world. Thank you very much. All right, let me quickly do the newspapers and then we can delve into our topics for this morning. I'll start with the Ghanaian Publisher newspaper. The Ghanaian Publisher. Na Toshi calls for unity, congratulates Bawumia on his victory. Minority leader demands action on national issues. Ghana loses $170 million in oil revenue, and audit shock. MIIF complains to Jubilee House. That'll be it for the Ghanaian Publisher newspaper. The next newspaper is the Daily Gist newspaper. The Daily Gist. Ghanaians are suffering. Minority cries out. NDC 2028 presidential race. Mahama threatens ministers with dismissal. Bawumia sweeps vote in 232 constituencies. NPP's 2028 task goes beyond unity, and this is coming from Opon Kruma. NDC government pushes for renaming of Kotoka International Airport, and Gift Your Warriors lawyer runs to Supreme Court over witness statement. That'll be it for the Daily Gist newspaper. The next newspaper is the Insight newspaper. The Insight. Farmers cry foul over unpaid compensations on Konongo bypass project. Ghana Medical Trust Fund restores hope for midwife after successful brain surgery. Congratulations to them, and we wish her a very speedy recovery. 1 month after the attack on Venezuela, the resurgence of imperialist diplomacy intensifies. 2,000 public sector workers to get salary backlog after verification, and this is coming from CAGD. Baller Taxi and Tricycle Association swears in new executives to boost waste management. We are praying that waste will be managed very, very well, because this is a very big problem in Accra. Very, very big problem. So if you're swearing in your new executives, I'm hoping that these new executives will do better than the old executives, because for me and many Ghanaians out there, the old executives, their work was a bit abysmal. I'm sorry, but that's a fact. Thank you. Ghana to rename Kotoka Airport as Accra International Airport in new bill, and majority leader said so. Now, don't forget that this is one of our main conversations for this morning, so you have to stay glued to your television set for that. I have other newspapers. Now I have the Daily Graphic newspaper as well. For the Daily Graphic, 60% businesses dodge VAT. GRA unveils compliance task force. President orders probe into alleged scholarship corruption. 41 million Ghana cedis C-tag book. Research allowance arrears ready, and this coming from Haruna Idrisu. And government to rename Kotoka International Airport is to honor host landlords. Majority leader discloses. The next newspaper is the Custodian newspaper. The Custodian newspaper. NPP MPs pledge full support for Bawumia. NPP's major battle is to win back trust of Ghanaians, and this is coming from Opon Kroma. Minority leader demands helicopter crash, U.S. visa ban probe. Majority leader outlines legislative agenda for second session, and external auditor sacked over MIIF audit crisis. That'll be it for the Custodian newspaper. The final newspaper is the Chronicle newspaper. The Chronicle. Kotoka Airport to be renamed. Na Toshi congratulates Bawumia. Bandai judgment. Osahin salutes Supreme Court judges. Most of you don't speak the truth, Magbain tells MPs. And also it came with a Bible verse, and it's coming from Matthew. So Matthew chapter 15 verse 8. These people honor me with their lips, but their hearts are far from me. These people honor me with their lips, but their hearts are far from me. Wow, this is so deep, eh? I don't know how they got this Bible verse so right. It's so right. I don't know if it's right for everybody who is watching us this morning, but it's so right for some of us because, you know, they'll honor you with their lips, but their hearts are so far away from you. Good morning once again. This is actually Prime Morning. So my guests are here, and I don't know who I should start this conversation with, because today I want to take a look at what happened in Parliament when they reconvened after a recess. So this is their very first sitting in the year 2026, and most people were actually expecting a lot with regards to their reconvening. I don't know what my guests here feel about yesterday, the conversations that happened in Parliament. Are they satisfied with it? And you as a Ghanaian as well, if you're watching us this morning, the things that were brought in Parliament, are you happy about these conversations so far, looking at the rename of Kotoka International Airport and other things as well? Are you happy, or you think that Parliament has more work to do? Let's not forget that the controversial LGBTQ plus bill is also sitting in the corner waiting. Now, let me just start the conversation with Matthias, who seated very next to me. Matthias, your general overview of what happened in Parliament yesterday.
Good morning, and blessed morning to our cherished viewers, and Happy New Year. I think it's my first time on Joy Prime.
All right.
In 2026.
Okay.
Yeah. And yes, Parliament reconvened yesterday. And I think among some of the notable things they've laid down has to do with reported planned change of the Kotoka International Airport to Accra International Airport. And also, I think a push by the minority for some investigations to be carried out with regard to reported sacking of people in the post-2024 elections. Somehow, I try to appraise myself with what might have informed the decisions that they are taking. And with regard to the Kotoka International Airport, we all know that Kotoka was a leading member of the National Liberation Council, and then was tragically killed, I think, in April 1967. At the forecourt of the Accra International Airport. And I think in 1969, then the airport was named after him. And so where his statue actually was erected was at the scene of where he was killed. So it gave the impression that it was an honor done to mark the place of his death. And successive governments over the period managed to keep the name until, I think, on October 5th, 2000, when the statue was removed and for the purposes of renovation to be carried out. Yeah, and ever since the statue wasn't replaced. And so then just now we are hearing, of course, the Nkrumahs who believe that he played a leading role in the overthrow of Kwame Nkrumah have always advocated that the airport shouldn't be named after somebody who participated in a coup. But those who actually went ahead feel justified because there are revolutionaries across the world that are honored by national monuments. It depends on the kind of history we want to appreciate and keep that this is who we are, that is where we've come from. And so we wait to see the majority leadership perhaps come out to let us know, the real reasons behind it. And am I conflicted about it? Well, since yesterday, I follow social media and I see Afenyo Makin trying to evoke emotions about how Kotoka happens to be the only Voltarian perhaps that's named after a national monument, and the pride that it brings to the people of the Volta region when they hear the name Kotoka. Maybe that is true, and then maybe I think as a country we need to better appreciate our history and have a thorough discussion about what we want to keep and then what is going to be with us and be part of us for the rest of time. With regard to the issues of... but then,
so you are not here nor there? I'm
neither here nor there. Am I conflicted? Do I feel some pride when I hear Kotoka? Yeah, if next I'm driving to Angloga and you get to a certain junction, Alakpe Junction. You see his statue there.
Okay.
And happens to be one of those leading members at the time. After Kotoka, we have Rawlings. Of course, you have the likes of Bedema, who was the finance minister at Kwame Nkrumah. So it's good to trace your history back and see those who play some leading role in the country. So I don't really know where I belong on this particular matter. That maybe we need some more information to know what exactly the decision is. But Parliament, I think, with the minority calling for an investigation into how people were sacked, I think Parliament has a duty to this country to more or less clean itself of a very sordid history, to investigate the things that matter. We saw, if the change, the purported change of Kotoka is what is important to Parliament at this time. We also want to know, anti-democratic experiment that took place on the floor of Parliament somewhere, I think on the 6th of January 2021, when armed soldiers stormed the floor of Parliament more or less to intervene in what's supposed to be a democratic process. I think the leadership on both sides of the divide should be interested to let the Ghanaian people know what actually took place, who authorized military personnel onto the floor of Parliament. We want to know who actually led the insurrection.
Yes, you now want to know?
Yeah, that was an affront to democracy, and that is so recent, and that is a threat to Parliament itself. I think that should bother them as much as it bothers those who appreciate democracy. And we want to see that taking place, you get me? We saw on the floor of Parliament clearly, as the facts will later reveal, that somebody impersonated Honorable Adjo Asafo to go and cast a vote because a government was desirous to pass a certain bill that their back was against the wall.
We don't know for a fact that was an impersonation.
Okay, so we need investigations to this matter. We need Parliament, both sides of the divide, to be interested to clean themselves of things that can bring clarity with regard to the honor that comes with Parliament. And until we have that, things of this nature will continue to baffle us and bother us, because issues of trivialities, clearly the Chief of Staff issued a directive that people who were employed after 7th January 2024 should not be retained. Clearly, I know in 2001, when the MPP won power during the transition period, they didn't pass any law, but they had that moral high ground to caution and secure the support of the NDC not to undertake any major activity that will burden the incoming regime. But it turns out that any time they find themselves on the other side, they do what they like. But then when it is the other way around, then they feel like they can do what they like. You have lost an election, and then you plunge this country into despair. The economy was barely up. The hopes and aspirations of young people was in a chokehold position. And then the nation, the new government that has come with an utmost responsibility to come and ameliorate all that you have done. And then what you seek to do then was to now go ahead and employ hundreds of people that will become a burden to the new regime that is here to come and appreciate what the kit is there, whether there's a capacity to actually absorb that. And I said that mischief was first laid down by President Kufuor, that after losing power, went ahead to increase salary and the wages of the Ghanaian people just to make life difficult for the incoming government. And it took a while, but that actually took a lot away from the government.
Are you saying the NDC has never done that? No,
the NDC has never done that. The NDC has never really done that. As I talk about 2001, when the MPP, the executive authority then still lies with the Jerry Rawlings regime then, but they came out to say that no, then now that we're in a transition process, you cannot undertake any activity that will bend the incoming regime. And there was that level of understanding. But yet, when during the same, but when Kufuor was leaving, they decided to introduce what we call the single spine salary structure that virtually quadrupled the salary burden on the government at the time. It took a lot of hard work, dedication, and focus for the Mills Mahama regime to be able to anchor that burden that they put on the Ghanaian, on the government at the time. And I think that now that we have the constitutional review process that is ongoing, it is important that I think there should be certain safeguards with regard to the transition period about what a government, outgoing government can do and what they cannot do. Okay, because I think that the government feels justified in the directive they give to ensure that you don't lose power when you're leaving, then you feel you have the authority to employ people as a burden to the incoming regime.
All right, Matthias,
Sure.
Thank you so much. So for Matthias, your main concern is that the things that were discussed yesterday should not be the focus, but rather other things with regards to democracy should be the focus.
Exactly.
All right,
so.
Thank you very much. Atik.
Yeah. So
No, I think my thing is yesterday, what was discussed, things like the probe into the sacking of these persons that were employed by the NPP government after 7th of January 2025, these persons being sacked, that probe. The minority has called for it, where we have seen the speaker saying yes, he's going to look into it. We saw the bill, the name of Kotoka change, and these things. Are you okay with these things that came up in Parliament, or you believe that there are other things that must be put in Parliament because those things are of more importance than these ones?
Okay, so I'd like to pick the one that in relation to the airport first.
Okay.
And you see, I want to take a bipartisan approach to this issue and put the blame on both political parties. Let me take you to this news item. All right, that was a March 2025. Renamed Tamale Airport after Nagbiwa Yana placed to Mahama. Then today we are hearing this one too. What Ghanaians fail to recognize is that some of these things, all right, some of these calls are based on intra-tribal politics or inter-tribal politics. And we politicians usually fall to this because we just want the people to get us the vote, because we feel like when we do the burden of the overlord or the chiefs or people who make this comment directly or indirectly, we seem to get their favor and we use them for our elections. That is where we are getting it wrong. Because the moment you begin to do this, and there's a change of government, the next government that will also come will get a section of the people either in that tribe or another tribe calling for a name change again. So in this case, what are you going to do? Are you going to fulfill what was done earlier, or you are going to take an objective stand on it? And the moment you take an objective stand on it, you have people from that community also saying that they are going to vote against you.
This is just one fraction, right?
I'm talking about the Tamale one.
Okay.
All right. I'm at Agomba, so I know some of the issues. There are issues that we will not speak it out, but I know issues that when we sit at the basis, all right, what we talk about. And if we politicians don't come to realization that there are certain things that we have to have a national approach to and things that we have to have a political approach to, we will plunge this country into chaos one day. Because, like I said, tomorrow we are going to have a group of people also coming out from a same tribe saying that, no, we want the name changed back to this. If you don't fulfill it, tension begins to rise. You are going to have some of the politicians within even your side instigating their own members to come out and demonstrate. Before you realize, you have other groups too also coming out, and it takes an inter-tribal approach. Then that leads to chaos. Today we have the majority leader saying that this cause are necessitated by people who think that their lands were cleared, people who think their lands were cleared for the construction of the airport, people who think their land. Who are those people? I didn't mention them. Who are those people who petition it? And I don't want to go deep into it, because I'll be seen as making certain tribal comments or making certain comments that are based on ethnicity. But when we read the article that I read, and what we said, it said people who said their lands were cleared. It gives you an impression that there's maybe it can be some traditional rulers. And we come back to the inter-tribal politics and the inter-tribal politics that I'm talking about. We need to get to that point that we politicians can look into the face of traditional authorities and tell them that we are not interested in this. We have to be bold and tell them. And there's nothing that they can do about it. For how many years has the name been Kotoka? So many years. I don't even remember.
Since 1969.
A long time. The politics that happened then, that gave the name Kotoka, doesn't concern you and I. What matters is how are we going to build on the airport? That is what should be of an interest.
57 years.
57 years. It's none of my business. Whether Kotoka or Accra, it's none of my business. What matters is that there was an administration that came, they built Terminal 3, administration that came, they also build on infrastructure. Then there is an administration that is also coming to improve. That is what should be of an interest to me. It shouldn't be something about name change to appease people's egos and people's interests and appease the sentiments of certain tribes. No, I disagree with it. And I said, so we, the politicians, look into the face of traditional authorities and tell them that, no, we disagree with you on this thing. They will push us to plan this country into chaos because we are just looking for their vote. And let me tell you something. With the exception of some few communities, no traditional authority or paramount chief can mount a podium of a political party and say vote for this or vote for that. It's an impression that we've created in our heads that they have so much, they bring so much power.
But you see, with regards to
who doesn't win.
With regards to Kotoka, I had a conversation with Sumah Nkrumah, and she's one of the biggest voices about it. She really, really wants the name change, and she gave a reason. I don't know if is the interview ready, please? Do we have it ready? Okay, so let's play the interview for you to have a look at it. Please, let's play it.
Let's look at our airports. I mean, that's one of the most glaring symbols of our fear of coming out and saying, yes, Kwame Nkrumah was a leader who did good for us. And we have been calling for the airport to go back to its original name. It was never called Kwame Nkrumah Airport. What was it called?
The Kotoka International Airport?
Yes.
Okay.
It was called Accra International Airport.
Okay.
So we've been calling for it to revert to that old name. We are not saying it should be called Kwame Nkrumah. I don't think Kwame Nkrumah needs more praise or accolades, you know, but it is a symbolic gesture, but it will go a long way.
Why do you want the Kotoka to be taken off?
Right. Now, we have moved on. We've forgiven. We don't want to settle scores, you know. I've met General Antra's children. It's nothing about
you don't hold any grief?
No, definitely not. At all. Not to the families, not even to the men who masterminded the coup. We are all Ghanaians and we have to move on. You know, we want to unite rather than divide ourselves. So, and I dare say, it's not just because Kotoka was a coup leader, one of the coup leaders who masterminded the coup, but because it's giving the wrong signal. You see, it's giving the wrong signal to name the airport after someone who contributed to our economic stagnation. You know, rather because
that's what you think about Kotoka. He contributed to our economic stagnation.
He was part of those who overthrew Kwame Nkrumah.
So this is what Samia said. She said Kotoka was part of the people that overthrew Kwame Nkrumah. Kotoka is a part of our economic stagnation. Kotoka, the name of the airport was not Kotoka International Airport. It was Accra International Airport. And this Accra International Airport was even built by Kwame Nkrumah. Now he overthrows Kwame Nkrumah, and then they reward him or they award him with the name of the airport that was built by Kwame Nkrumah.
You see, we do not live, in as much as we appreciate what her father has done for the country. We do not live to satisfy their sentiments. We've also moved on. Her father also did to people's fathers. Yes, and those people, there are people that she will not get the opportunity to go to and say, you know what, I'm sorry for what my father did to you. at least she's had opportunity to meet General Ankre's children. You understand? There are a lot of people who also feel like your father was elected democratically and he tends to be an autocrat. So you cannot criticize Kotoka and say, I mean, you should leave, your father was the angel. No, we adore your father, we appreciate him, but your father wasn't a saint either. Because you can't be elected democratically, then you tend to be an autocrat. So what was wrong with what Kotoka said?
The father didn't overthrow anybody, did he?
You were elected democratically and tend yourself to be an autocrat. I'm saying that his father has done his best. We agree with that, all right? He's one of the best that we've had. But then her father too was not a saint too. So don't make us feel as if, don't blackmail us.
What about
don't emotionally blackmail us and make us feel like economic stagnation that she spoke about. I don't really want to go into this Nkrumah issue because of how people get sentimental when you get into it. People don't want to listen to the fact because they created a God out of him, which is fine. Your father inherited an economy, all right? Inherited a lot of cash. All right? By the time your father was out, before the military dictators took over, we were down. Your father had now moved the money to go pursue African independence, African unity and all that. That's what, we all read it. It's a fact. That's what happened. So let's not go into that. We are not going to, we don't live to appease their sentiment, her family's sentiment. We've also moved on. All right? I don't fault anybody who wants to name an edifice or a major road with the name J.J. Rawlings. He has also done his part. Was he the best? No. Did he offend others? Yes. Are people still peeved? Are some family peeved for some of the things that he did? Yes. Do we have to move on? Yes, we have to move on. Okay. But it doesn't mean that you will use what happened in the somewhere 1960s to blackmail the country and say, you know what, this person, whenever, okay, maybe she has this impression when she gets to the international airport and she sees Kotoka International Airport, maybe it brings back memories. All right? It's the same way that when people also hear J.J. Rowling, it brings back memories. There are people who also feel like they had businesses which collapsed under JM1 or a Kupado's administration. But we have to move on. We don't live to appease your sentiments.
All right, Atik, let me bring Richard in.
I think there was an issue that I didn't speak about.
I have to come back to you after that. So, Richard, it looks like this name change is becoming a sentimental conversation as it stands. You know, for some people, it's something that should happen. It's the right thing. Because the name was already Accra International Airport before it was changed to Kotoka International Airport. And it's not like it's being named after another person. It's just being named after the city that is in. Just like Gatwick, Heathrow, and those things. So, you know, people just want to find out.
Well, first of all, let me use this platform to extend my warm regards to the people of Ho Central constituency this morning, and as well all the leadership of the United Party, regional and constituency executives, and to also take the opportunity to wish Dr. Simon Chekpo a very good morning, who happens to be the Vice President of King's University College. I extend my warm greetings to you this morning and to my co-panelists. To congratulate the MPP for their recent primaries that they did. It was quite peaceful, so we congratulate them. And to wish my brother seated right at my right a good luck, and I will support him true and true if he really wants to become the youth organizer of the party. Thank you. I believe everybody has the opportunity to serve the nation in whatever capacity they deem fit. So I want to congratulate him for taking that bold step to take another lever in the political space. So congratulations in advance.
Thank you, bro.
Well, as a matter of fact, the likes of me, Richard, I hate traitors and I hate sellouts. Kotoka was a sellout. He was a hypocrite. He was a vampire. He was a man who had brought us to where we find ourselves today as a country. Anybody who makes that argument that Kwame Nkrumah was bequeathed with cash, did the colonial masters told you how much they left to him up to date? Have they told you? How much they left in the coffers for him? Have they told you? Anybody who tells you that Kwame Nkrumah had money and he wasted it, he doesn't understand anything. A man who constructed Akosombo Dam for you, a man who built 400 factories for you, a man who tried to connect, build cities, build states, a man who is vision outweigh even all the presidents we have today in the so-called fourth democratic dispensation or fourth republic.
Since 1992 up to today, have we been able to contract 400 factories? Have we? We have chicken change factories scattered across all the 16 regions. There are regions in this country who don't even have one single factory. And we call this a country. I have made this call the last time on GH1 that we need to replace Kotoka's name from that airport. We cannot glorify traitors, regardless of whatever, because history don't celebrate traitors and sellouts. History doesn't do that. History celebrates people who have worked hard to contribute to the development of the society that they find themselves in. Those are the people that history glorifies.
Are you saying Kotoka did nothing?
He did nothing. He was a traitor. He was a sellout. Let us admit it. A complete traitor. Let me tell you, you see the dispensation of Kwame Nkrumah when they fought colonialism, okay? What were you expecting? After I fought the colonial masters, after when others were praising them that will let them stay, it is not due years for us to become independent. Africa was telling you that we need to take the bull by the horn. We need to take control of our own destiny. We need to hold ourselves together and prove to the whole world that the black man was capable of managing his own affairs. If Kwame Nkrumah and co didn't have done that, where do you think we'll be today? The Europeans, the whites who were governing us by then, what did they do for us? Apart from building Achimota School to suit their own taste, apart from building rich hospital to suit their own taste, what else have they done? What have they done exactly that we needed to celebrate them or we needed to keep them in this country? And Kwame Nkrumah said, no. As a black people, we need to prove to everybody that, look, we can do it ourselves. And don't forget, at that moment, tempers were high. The stakes were so high. Even if I was Kwame Nkrumah, I would have done worse. Because you need to control the system before you can bring about development. Because if you don't control the system, you don't control the citizens, you don't build them up, you don't galvanize them, you don't take time to hold them feet to the fire of development. What did he say? He told us that after we have won our independence, he said our independence is meaningless until the total liberation of what? Of the continent. And what did they tell us? He told us that the victory that he has won was just a tip of the iceberg, that we needed to work so hard to build this country called Ghana. Then there were people who were anti-Nkrumah. They didn't see his vision. They didn't see his foresight. They couldn't match his vision. So they said, look, this guy, let us go after him. That's how the Pharisees went after Christ. The Pharisees went after Christ because they never believed in his vision. They thought he was becoming a traitor, but he was the savior. So Kwame Nkrumah, the things he did, we cannot just tackle that against what Kotoka and Co. masterminded to overthrow him, and therefore we dare to say that, oh, why should we change Kotoka's name from the airport? I am a proud Voltarian, but I disagree with anybody who try to bring tribal sentiment into this to say that, oh, Voltarians, we don't need to glorify any traitor. We don't need it. Are you getting my point?
If the person is a traitor and is
we don't need it. He was a sellout. If Kwame Nkrumah had the opportunity to govern this country for at least a minimum of 10 years, I bet to differ that the Ghana that we are so proud of today, singing praises, glorifying ourselves, glorifying mediocrity, what have we done? If he not giving us Akosombo Dam, what do you think would have been happening today? When he was constructing Akosombo Dam, they claim he was wasting money. Do you know what is called investment? When you do investment, if I have 100 million in my bank account today, and I decide to take off the 100 million and go and set up a cattle ranch, and I decide to go and set up a cassava plantation, I decide to set up an ethanol processing plant, and at the end of the day, you go and check my bank account, and it is to zero. Do you tell me I've become broke? I am not broke. I have done investment today that is going to return my investment in the nearest future. That's what Kwame Nkrumah was doing. Those who didn't understand him claimed that he was running Ghana agog. He was wasting resources. Who told you he was doing so?
All right. If Parliament should pass this bill and the name should be changed, what symbolic and practical implications will it mean to Ghana?
The symbolic and the important thing is that we have decided not to celebrate any traitor and to glorify any hypocrite. I want to commend the NDC for having the courage to do so, because the NPP, they are anti-Nkrumah's political party. I want to believe that the NDC knows what is right and they have to take the bold decision.
Why do you say they are anti-Nkrumah?
They are anti-Nkrumah. It is trite knowledge. NPP is an anti-Nkrumah political party. Were they not the ones who fought him? Were they not the one who disassociated themselves with him? Were they not the one who even banned the possession of his book? Look, the people who masterminded the coup. Why? Kotoka was just an instrument. Kotoka was just an instrument. They were traitors. Traitors, deep core traitors, and they used Kotoka as an instrument. And Kotoka, gullible as he was, and as greedy as he was, he allowed himself to be used by the traitors. So why then do you sit today and say you want to glorify him? Let us bring back the name Accra International Airport. I love what Samia said. I'm not even thinking about naming the airport after my dad. The whole world glorifies Kwame Nkrumah. The whole world celebrates Kwame Nkrumah. Go to all the African countries. Look at Patrice Lumumba. Look at what happened in Zimbabwe. Look at the apartheid. Look at everything that happened. Kwame Nkrumah knew that Africa has to be liberated and there must be a messiah to champion that cause. And that was Kwame Nkrumah. So if anybody should turn around and say that Kwame Nkrumah, he did, I say if I was Kwame Nkrumah, I would have done with that. I would have jailed more people.
What do you say to people who say he was an autocratic leader?
That's what I'm saying, that at that time, that current dispensation, you need an autocratic leader to govern you. You need to hold the people. You need to govern them with iron fist. That is the only way you can make progress. Because see, democracy is not good for us. Democracy, this so-called democracy, if democracy is good enough, I'm asking them, have they been able to build 400 factories? The two political parties. Have they? Have they? Have they? What have they done significantly that we can say that they have done?
At least you have your freedom, don't you?
Freedom? Freedom, and what is the price you pay for freedom? What is the price you pay for freedom? You share your blood to gain the freedom. Others share their blood and today you are enjoying the freedom. That freedom put food on the table to anybody. That freedom create jobs. That freedom pay school fees. That freedom do anything. That freedom make you to be counted among countries in the world. Go to all the countries that are developing. Go to all the countries that are taking the bull by the horn. They are not practicing democracy. Go to the almighty China. I think China was practicing democracy, they would have lived this year. America is just privileged, okay? That even they didn't start with democracy. America didn't start with democracy.
But
that's why I said they built the foundation of the country first before they metamorphosed into becoming a democratic country.
So then Kwame Nkrumah built the foundation.
That's why I'm saying that anybody who turns around to tell you that Kwame Nkrumah wasted the state resources, and he plundered the country into economic chaos because he was fighting for the liberation of Africa, then the person is getting it wrong.
Okay.
Kwame Nkrumah did nothing wrong. That's what I'm saying to you, that moment, that time, when you just came up from independence, when the people have been led by the slave masters for a while, what were you expecting? That everybody should have his free way? When traitors were still among him, when people were throwing bombs left, right, front, center to kill him? I said if I were Kwame Nkrumah, that preventive detention, I would have done worse than him. Because if you don't lead an African with an iron fist, you cannot change anything in Africa.
Okay, so some people say that the change won't do anything economically for us.
The change won't do anything economically for us, but it will tell the whole world that Ghana, we have decided not to glorify any traitor. Okay. Simplicity.
Okay. That's all that matters to you. Matthias, so this particular conversation, you know, so he's saying that it's not about he being a Voltairean, but the fact that he is a traitor. And we shouldn't be glorifying traitors as a country. You know, and even your political party is arguing that yes, the name should be changed back to Accra International Airport. Now, this Accra International Airport, the name was given in 1958. It was in 1969 that they changed the name to Lieutenant Colonel Kotoka.
And I'm saying, you see, Richard took the whole thing to a different dimension. Nobody can underestimate or belittle the role of our founder, Kwame Nkrumah, with regard to the present-day Ghana that we have. Of course, honestly, I will not be conflicted, perhaps, if they go ahead straight and name Kotoka International Airport after Kwame Nkrumah. After all, most airports in Africa are named after the founding fathers of their modern-day states, okay? But you ask me whether I took the position of the government that they're going to change the name from Kotoka to Accra International Airport. And I said, I have listened to many sentiments, some that are people feel, okay, they feel associated with the name, so it evokes some pride. For some who also understand the role of Kotoka in the overthrow of Kwame Nkrumah, they feel slighted and see him as a symbol, as Richard wanted to describe it, of betrayal, okay? But then those who took the decision, because Kotoka was never really the leader at the time, except that we know that he was murdered in the course of resisting attempted counter coup that would have overthrown the Supreme Military Council also at the time. So he was murdered, and the site where he was killed was right at the forecourt of the airport. So the statue that remains there until 2000, when it was taken off, was at the place where he was killed. So perhaps the understanding that many get is that, okay, he was honored or he was remembered for fighting a counter coup, and he was killed as a senior member of then government, okay? But I don't hold any strong position on the matter.
Okay.
And if you name Kotoka International Airport after Kwame Nkrumah, I will celebrate it, because Jomo Kenyatta International Airport is there, Julius Nyerere International Airport is there. Many of the airports in Africa are named after their foundational presidents, those who fought and get them independence. So I will not go into the discussion with regard to Kwame Nkrumah, because that is a man that remains peerless to this day with regard to his vision, his dream for not only Ghana, but for Africa, and we cannot take that away.
But one of the arguments to change the name of the Kotoka International Airport is because he was a part of the overthrow of Kwame Nkrumah.
Has that been established?
Of course.
Yeah.
Well, if it is established,
the interview
he wanted to flee from this country when he was down there.
And that is why I'm going forward to say, whilst we are interested to correct wrongs that took place somewhere in 1966, okay? That is, this airport was named after Kotoka in the past 57 years. We are equally interested in anti-democratic activities that took place on the floor of Parliament.
Okay.
That the leadership on both sides of the divide should go ahead to tell us who authorized military personnel on the floor of Parliament, okay, on January 7, 2001, to actually subvert the democratic will of people at the time. We want to know who impersonated, okay, clearly, who impersonated a city member of parliament who was outside the country to go, because that is the height of, how do I call it? It's not betrayal, but it is a height of something that is so illegal, because parliament is supposed to be, is a symbol of honor, it's a symbol of prestige. And if Parliament is a place where we want to correct the wrongs of the past, tracing back to about 6 generations, we should be interested in the one that happened in our lifetime.
All right.
And the Parliament should go ahead and lay down all these things to undertake, so that we all see how serious we are. That is what I'm saying.
Okay.
Thank you.
All right. Yes, I think I don't even know what to ask you, because at this point you've jotted down a lot of points.
Yeah, a lot of points.
Yeah.
Because I disagree with a lot of things that he said.
Okay. Who said?
Yeah, he said. All right. But you see, one comment that he made that I felt wasn't proper, to have said that you need to rule the African with an iron fist.
Exactly.
Yeah, that's a racist comment. No, it's a racist comment. It's
the moment of the time.
No. Okay, you didn't mention the moment in time. Later on, you came back and you said that, what has a democracy done for us? And he said, the black man, all right, the African, all right, should be ruled with an iron fist. That's and that is a racist statement. No, it's an insult to anybody who is black. No. I also disagree with you. Vehemently disagree with you. Vehemently disagree with you. Because I don't see why you would tell me.
That's his opinion.
Yes. For me, where I said he's the one acting like, yeah, I'm the Pan-Africanist here. I'm the one advocating for Nkrumah. But you end up saying that anybody with a black skin doesn't deserve a democracy. That person should be ruled with an iron fist, because that's what you said.
In China as well.
No, I'm saying,
China is not black.
I'm taking his comment that comment was not proper, because most of the things that he said are things that we can debate on it, based on my perspective and how I see things, it's not an issue of morality here. It's an issue of political stand. Where I stand, if you are elected democratically, you have to hand over democratically. You don't turn yourself to be an autocrat. That is my personal stand. It's a political stand. We are not dealing with the issue of morality here, because we all have different views on it. But the political stand on it, I say, if you are elected democratically, you also have to hand over democratically. So if people entrust their right, all right, and their will onto you, you are supposed to also protect it and go by what they told you to do. The moment you also do otherwise, you also become a sellout too. That is it. But you see, when it comes to the issue of Nkrumah, we are very careful because people get a bit sentimental. So, like I said, in my earlier submission, I said I don't want to talk that much on it because people might not understand where you are coming from. And another comment that you did say that what has the two major political parties done for the country? We have developed this country than any group of people, being from the Nkrumah side to the military era. We have developed this country.
The NPP.
NPP and NDC in terms of road, in terms of infrastructure. Yeah, of course, you mentioned Akosombo. We have added more megawatt than any group of people, any era.
The two
political parties. Yes. Wow. What is the capacity of Akosombo?
Akosombo.
1,000. I think 1,200 or so. That's 1,200. Check the megawatts that we've added over the years. So in as much as that we appreciate the foundation that he built, we will not also allow you to rubbish us. We also did our part. We are doing our part. We are building on a democracy.
No economic stagnation as it's been assumed, or as
economic stagnation.
Yes.
Under the military rules, we had it.
Okay. No, I mean right now, because that's what people say, that there's economic stagnation.
Economic stagnation.
Yes.
How do they define economic stagnation?
That's what people say.
How do they define the economic stagnation?
How do they define it?
Yes. You have the right to do your business. You have the right to work. What he failed to recognize is that under Nkrumah, we were practicing the communism, all right? So the state will build everything, state will produce everything. But today, I remember when, just recently, when K.T. Hammond was trying to pass this bill to Parliament that, certain goods should be cut off, certain goods that we export should be cut off, and rather strengthen the local market, give them some tax incentives. Some people said, no, we are going to collapse the private sector.
Yeah.
And the private sector seems to employ more down than the government. So it is all about political ideologies and where we find ourselves. What happened then cannot happen now. That is what he needs to understand. So, like I said, there are a lot of things that you said that I disagree with you. But that is your perspective politically, and my perspective politically. Some of them, economically, I disagree with you. Some of them, I will disagree with you some way, somehow. Because when you take where we find ourselves as a country, on the issues of spending over $350 million just to import tin tomatoes, over $400 million just to import foods and all that. I think that we can set up our own factories to produce that, and that will take pressure off our forests, because now we are mining gold, accumulating the gold, and just pushing it into the forest market. And gold is not like cocoa that when you cultivate this year, the next year you'll be able to cultivate it again. The moment you dig this enclave, it's done. You can't get gold from that place again. It's off. All right? So I think that there should be some of the approach that Nkrumah did by building the factories. I agree with him. But there are some of the things too, I disagree with him politically. All right? So, like I said.
Like which one?
My issue has to be the democracy.
Okay.
I feel like that was a betrayal of trust of the people. For me, that's where I stand.
Okay.
That one, it will never change. It was a betrayal of trust of the people. Today, if I believe that there are people in NDC, if President Mahama decides that he wants to amend the constitution, go for a third term, they will say no. It's a betrayal of the trust of the people.
Okay.
You see, wrong is wrong, right is right. On the where you were elected, the rules that existed during your election should be that rule move forward.
Some people also say that because of how Nkrumah was, that's why we saw that level of development within the short period that he was president of the country, because he made sure that people were whipped in line. Like, I take a look at, yesterday we had a conversation about Accra decongestion exercise, and we've seen it over and over and over and over. You know, almost every quarter they go to Accra, they are decongesting it, before we realize the people are back. I remember about 3 years ago, Medina, when the overhead was done, overpass was done, people were not using it. It took some men who had to use canes to whip people to make sure they were using the overpass. So some people feel that this is what we need, that tight fist to make sure things move.
I still disagree with you.
Yes, please. I'll let you make
I still disagree with you on that narrative. You see, things have changed. The population has increased. It is up to the political parties to make sure that we are able to meet the moment that we find ourselves in. That is our work. You understand? It's not about using an iron fist on people, because I don't see the sense. All right, let's say the Medina footbridge. I don't see the sense. To be honest, I don't know the contractor who was given that contract, but I don't see the sense in building a footbridge. All right, then you have about 50 staircase to the top. Like, are you serious? One slanted like about 30 meters away. How do you expect them? Like, people are just lazy. You understand? Anytime I drive past there and I watch it, I be like, what went through this guy's mind? Then one time, I was just thinking about it and I said, I think that this guy just added more staircase to increase the amount of money that goes into a contract. Oh yeah, that was my view. That was my final conclusion.
This person was never invited to Parliament.
He's built it. You gave him a contract. He's built it. Hasn't he built it? He's built it. That is the technicality with it. Like I said, when it comes to Nkrumah,
but don't you think that it's about time we invite such people to Parliament for accountability so we don't see a repeat?
You see, the political parties in power determine what is of a priority to them and what is not of a priority to them. So you will need to check that. And that will take a lot of constitutional amendments and certain acts to be passed. Because it can be like an animal farm mentality where 4 legs are good and two legs are bad. I stand on the issue of the renaming of Kotoka International Airport to Accra. I stand with Matthias on it. And I started my conversation that I want to take a bipartisan approach to this issue. And taking a bipartisan approach to it, I think that is of no necessity as where we find ourselves in as a country. You see, when you confront the Ghanaian youth, all right, and you ask them their need, their want, the first thing that they talk about are jobs. That's it. So I was thinking that since the whole 2025 went with not any serious drive for job creation, I was thinking that the 2025 would have started with a bipartisan approach to creating jobs. Because, see, unemployment doesn't affect only people in power. It affects those in opposition. Because when I'm in opposition, all right, and I get my cousin employed, I get my sister employed, I get a relative employed, that burden where I have to struggle and send them momo at the end of the month, all right, it's taken off me because I know you are working. You understand? Those are the issues that I think that we should be handled, because the more the unemployment situation piles up and piles up and piles up, it's going to create an insecurity problem.
Right.
Yes.
And that's where the problem is. Yes, Richard.
Yes, I sincerely had wished my brother was Kwame Nkrumah then. Then he would have understood Kwame Nkrumah vividly well. But unfortunately, he wasn't Kwame Nkrumah. If today I'm talking about
you weren't either.
I wasn't him either.
Yeah.
But I understand that if I were to be the president today, assuming he today, or he becomes the president of the republic in the nearest future to come, which I believe he can, and he can become a president of the republic one day. And the system is so antagonistic against you. They buy not into your vision. They believe in you not. Therefore, everywhere you go, there's an attempt on your life. Everything is being tilted to assassinate you. Would you be kissing those people would you be giving them a flower bouquet anytime you meet them? Will you? Would you allow the system to remain until the day you are gunned down, then your wife become a widow? Is that what you would do? I don't really think so. You fight tooth and nail to make sure you protect your life. And if Kwame Nkrumah at that time, there's several attempts on his life, and you want Kwame Nkrumah to sit aloof and watch them to kill him? No, anybody who comes after me, I must go after you, straightforward. And I ask a simple question. Let's forget about roads. Let's forget about 32 years. We are still, when we say mention what we have done, the first thing they said is road. The first thing they will say, they will end up with, oh, we have given you free education. Kwame Nkrumah brought free education to the north to bridge the gap between the north and the south, because he knew vividly well that there must be a bridge between the south and the north. He introduced it. All the almost secondary schools, all the secondary schools that we have in Ghana, mention the one that they have built. Just about that again, the secondary school that Kwame Nkrumah built. The white men who were ruling us were taking us for a ride. They were really milking us dry. They never loved us. They never cared about us. And again, he talked about democracy, so the system should be liberal. I'm a liberalist as well. But for instance, open defecation. Open defecation, classical example. Do you know today if you allow every Ghanaian, they'll be defecating everywhere. They'll go to the beach and defecate left, right, front, center. And
it's not allowed. You and I know that.
It is not allowed, but still go there and see. Go there.
But if they arrest you,
that's why I'm saying that in a society, there are some societies, there must be discipline. You must instill discipline. You use an English word, keep in line.
And is that not discipline enough, what they are doing, like arresting those who are doing?
No, the citizens believe that because of the democracy, I'm not advocating that we should go and have any military coup or anything, no. I'm saying even if it is a democracy, democracy must bite hard enough to let the people understand that in as much as it's democracy, you will not allow you to go scot-free when you go wrong. We will still instill discipline in you.
Which kind of discipline are you talking about?
Honesty, integrity, discipline, sincerity, the love for the country. Do you know that in this country, there are state assets, state property that you give it to a citizen? He believes that, oh, I bind here. I bind here, the same because I'm born.
What kind of discipline are we talking about?
I am saying that the discipline we are talking about is not to be beating people, okay? But create a system that will instill fear in the people that when I do A, when I do B, the system will go after me.
Example
is that if I am defecating publicly and I am arrested, I should be publicly paraded and whipped.
Okay.
If I'm arrested for going to throw rubbish somewhere else, where this is not the designated area for throwing rubbish, when I'm arrested, I should be paraded at Independence Square with all cameras on me and lashed vividly well.
2026. Human rights.
What is human rights?
2026.
You are building a society. And a society must be a disciplined society.
Okay.
That's why we the United Party, we talk about attitudinal and behavioral change. When you ask the Singaporean president, Lee Kuan Yew, how he managed to transform Singapore, he told them that, first of all, you must work on the mindset of the people. And the only thing that you can do to work on the mindset of the people, when you bring discipline into their folk. So all I'm saying is that any argument that says, I'm not here to defend Kwame Nkrumah, okay? But any argument that suggests that, oh, he didn't do what we elected him democratically and he became a dictator. What are you talking about? If my life is at stake, I will be worse than him.
You've made your point.
So my last point is that he made something about what do we call it? The construction of the what do we call it? The overbridges and all those things. You know, some of the overbridges, because we have wasted too much time as a country to do some of these things, congestions, and you see, we are not the people who anticipate. You see, in the country, you need to anticipate, think ahead. That's what Kwame Nkrumah was doing. So even when he was contracting the motorway linking Accra to Tema, oh, he was wasting state resources. How many cars did we have even at that time? And he was building a 6-lane, 3 in, 3 out, or 2 in, 2 out. They bastardized him. But today we have now come to the realization that even the 2 in, 2 out is not enough. Is that not the case? Ideally, we would have encouraged him to do 4 in, 4 out, as at that time. Today we will not be fighting to go and build another one. So my point is that if today we want to build Ghana, we should not be using the variables, these variables like road and all these things, as the measuring yardstick for our development. Development must be based on the quantum of job that you've been able to create. As a journalist, respectfully, do a research and tell me from 1992 up to date, how many jobs have the two major parties created? Not the one that they create on paper, not the paper jobs, realistic, verifiable, tangible jobs. Not the one that they'll tell you we created NAPCO. After 2 years, NAPCO is fizzling out. Not the one that they'll tell you, oh, 1 year we are training some people into apprenticeship. Go and check how many people have they trained into apprenticeship. How many are self-dependent and doing well now on their own? You see, we talk, but we don't go to verify and see that what we have done, how impactful is it on the life of the people. So as a matter of fact, I believe that if the Kwalugu tomatoes factory or something, or those ones were still in existing, do you think like how my good brother is saying that we are still importing tomatoes, importing toothpick, importing Pepsodent, importing everything, and we are proud of it?
All right, Richard. Matthias.
Well, I think if it's now a verdict on Kwame Nkrumah's leadership, then I have to make my position very clear. I still maintain that Kwame Nkrumah remained peerless with regard to all the Ghanaian leaders since independence. And I must say, whether do I agree with Kwame Nkrumah's style of leadership, I do. I believe that Kwame Nkrumah was the best president this nation has ever seen. He was the most visionary. And everything that he did, of course, he faced so many obstacles with regard to the anti-democratic forces that worked against him. Of course, he survived so many attempts on his life. And perhaps if I'm in his shoes, I would have done worse in terms of his approach to become more emboldened and stiff with regard to granting civil liberties to people. Richard rightly stated whether democracy is good for us or it's not good for us. If you look at the history of the world, countries that really developed, they didn't use democracy as a tool to develop. If you look at the Chinese, they closed their borders for 40 years, and the Chinese, the Chinese regime is one of the most strictest ever, that even to today, you know, you go to Beijing airport and you see policemen struggling with people just to seize stuff that they believe that offend their laws or whatever it is. And that is how the Chinese are. And they are very disciplined, and they make sure that every infringement is paid for in terms of punishment. How did the Americans develop? They developed on the back of slave labor. It was not democracy that they came to Africa, packed tens of thousands, millions of our people through the Caribbean, and people work on their plantations to develop their country. It is only they use slave labor to develop that they introduce democracy after their own civil war. The British, Barclays Bank, one of the biggest banks the world have today, was created with process of slavery. Are you getting me? The monarchy, they conquered through war. They colonized us, forcibly took our resources to develop themselves. That cannot happen under democracy. So truly, democracy has its limits. And that is why when I say people criticize President Rawlings, and this time around, I try to draw a lot of parallels. He was accused of undermining Ghanaian businesses. So in a way,
you are agreeing with what Richard is saying, right?
Yes, okay. Yes, very much so. Okay. Very much so. People are saying that President Mahama came to office just after 1 year. We brought inflation down from 23.6% to 5.4%. And we were talking every Ghanaian trader, every service provider used the dollars and excuse to escalate prices in this country. Now you have a gentleman sitting at the Bank of Ghana, Dr. Johnson Pandita Siama. He didn't lock the city and give the key to IGP. Through application of commonsensical approach and a fiscal discipline, of course, with coordination of the finance minister who is doing so well today. The city is under check, okay? Yet the Ghanaian trader refuses to pass the benefit to the Ghanaian people. So this is where the Kwame Nkrumah style comes in? No, so this is why those who accuse Jerry Rawlings then of sending people to whip people in the market, the kalabule hoarding of goods, and those kind of things. So we must question the Ghanaian attitude. So, of course, what this country needs today, it is about the change in our mindset. And that is why in Kwame Nkrumah's time, you must appreciate it when you talk of the Pioneers Club, when young people were congregated in many circles and they were taught the values, the ethics of what can contribute to building a better nationhood, you get me? And then Jerry Rawlings with the CDRs, the PNDC, you have a period of where students went into the hinterlands to carry cocoa. You see military men building roads. You see a period of total dedication to nation building. And these are the periods that we tend to demonize. And you demonize them, and today that you have the democracy And then when we say we are talking about civil liberties, we are talking about human rights, that have become a license for people to misbehave and misgovern and do so many things. The past 8 years, is clear testament to that. Okay. So when it's about the verdict of Kwame Nkrumah, about Jerry Rawlings, let's trace it back and know that certain level of absolute discipline is required if the democracy is supposed to work. Because at times, people feel like perhaps this even fourth democratic experiment, the fourth republic may have run its course. That is why the constitutional review process is so important, that we need to look at it clearly, how people exploit certain loopholes in the Constitution just to misbehave, misgovern, and think that they can walk away with it.
You said you wanted to pass a comment about the Accra decongestion exercise.
Yes. So I'm rightly saying that, yes, certain discipline is required. The laws are there, but because we are afraid of losing votes, we are unable to enforce. So, of course, under a military dictatorship, I don't need to come for vote, so I can discipline you and make you behave. Are you getting me?
Do you think that's where we'll
But in Europe, in Europe, in America, they are doing democracy now, but they are democracies at a certain stage where application or enforcement of the laws does not necessarily bring a negative political dividend to the regime in power, because that's clarity that the laws are there, that when you misbehave, when you steal our money, when you infringe on the laws, the police will deal with you, and the police dealing with you will not be traced to any politician to say that the regime of the day is persecuting anybody or anything.
Okay, thank you. Let me read a few messages. Yunas, Asin South, good morning, Joy Prime. So it means the name of the airport was named after the person who overthrew the one who built and named it Accra International Airport. And now, if you're marking things, he can instigate Voltarians against the government by introducing needless and dangerous tribal sentiment. If it's about the Voltarian name, then I believe Voltarians will be proud of Felix Beo, Ephraim Mamu, Flight Lieutenant Jerry John Rawlings. Rather, this is Yunas from Asin. Okay, Yunas, thank you for sending that. Let's see. Abdul Ganu, good morning, Roslyn, and Yakubu Atik. It is Abdul Ganu Mankarigo from Savannah region. Imagine if this had happened under President Akufo-Addo, the NDC would have claimed it was an attempt to marginalize Voltarians and erase their place in Ghana's history. A nation that does not honor its heroes is not worth dying for. Is this what they call a reset? I asked the ministry and those who travel, do we have a London airport or a Madrid airport? Nothing of that sort. If they want, they can even name it NDC International Airport. We honestly don't care. Okay. Teacher Kujo from Tepa Eyisu or Eyina Suso. Okay. Ghanaians did not waste their precious time voting for the NDC just for them to come and rename Kotoka International Airport. There are urgent issues such as difficulties in transportation and water supply that they need to address. How many Ghanaians use KIA? Less than 2% of the population use that facility. Greetings to Honorable Eric Nana Ajiman Prempe MP for Ahafo North Chairman Odeneho Kweku Apia. All right, Kuka. All right, so I think that I'll come back and read a few messages. I've seen the messages are coming in, so many messages coming in. I'll come back and I'll read more of those messages. Okay, so we have Justice Abdullahi joining us. He's a law lecturer. So Justice Abdullahi is a law lecturer at the UPSA School of Law. Good morning, Justice.
Good morning.
How are you today?
Pleasure being here.
Great. Same here. Thank you for joining us. Now, Justice, what do you make of this proposed name change of Kotoka International Airport?
I think it is a long overdue. The decision has to have been taken right after the inception of the Fourth Republic. The fact that it has been for this 34 years is insulting enough to the intelligence of the people of Ghana, and indeed the very constitution that we strongly uphold as the framework of the development of this country.
Justice, your sound keeps going, it keeps fluctuating. It's very difficult to hear you. It's fluctuating.
Oh, sorry.
Yes, please.
Sorry. Is it better?
Better now, yes, thank you.
Thank you. So my point is that right after the inception of the Fourth Republic, this decision should have been taken because the birth of the Fourth Republic was the birth of a democratic government. And that was a time for us to have taken steps to remove every single thing that appeared to glorify the unconstitutional rule within our political discourse. So having waited for this long period of time, I think we have insulted the very constitution that is the foundation of our development today. We have insulted the intelligence of people of Ghana. And I am more incised by those opposing this laudable decision, because I cannot imagine how anyone within this republic who thinks that glorifying coup makers and constitutional, coup plotters is the best way to showcase our country to the world. Remember, the Kotoka Airport, as we know it today, is a gateway to our republic. And if you want to show the best reputation, the best form of image to the world, it shouldn't be an image of a coup plotter. It should be an image of a democratic leader, if that's what it means. But if you don't want to name it after individuals, I'm even better. That's even better for all of us.
Okay.
We have a lot of other names that we could accord this national monument, that it shouldn't be part of a basis to glorify anyone who took us backward. And it is irrespective how good the person contributed at the time that he was a leader. The fact that that person overthrew a legitimate constitution is enough to condemn that person. And anyone upholding any decision to continuously maintain that name is an enemy of our democracy.
Right. But are there any legal implications after this bill is passed?
There are very little legal implications. Of course, the name has existed for very long. So indeed, it would involve the international affiliate fund with the airline. That is so low.
Your line is back to the fluctuation again.
To appreciate that indeed a reference to an Accra International Airport came as a potential. With time, I believe that we get to the point.
Justice, please, Justice, again, we are back into the fluctuation. Can we get you speaking up a little bit so we can hear you clearly?
I think it must
better
be
now. Better now.
Network problem.
Better now. It's better now. So let's, yes.
Oh, thank you.
Thank you.
So yes. I think this is the most laudable and most decisive decision ever taken, if any, within our Fourth Republic to maintain and uphold the Constitution, the fabric of which we claim to be democratic. And so this decision should be applauded by all, at least democratic watchers and indeed the lovers of democracy. And the last person you would expect to condemn this should be any person coming from the folks of the NPP. Because the NPP in particular has touted itself as a democratic party. And you do not expect any infantile thought from members or elements within the party who do not even know the foundation and the core values of the party to come telling us that this decision is a wrong decision. Particularly when the person doesn't even know the basis of the formation of the new patriotic party. And I say this with a lot of pain because this party has fought so much to build the democracy that we are enjoying. And they pursued a lot of matters, even all the way to the Supreme Court, just to maintain that semblance of democracy within our republic. And so for members of that party to be condemning a decision that advanced the principle that is very and highly
Okay, unfortunately, the network again. But Justice Abdullahi was letting us know his stance on it, saying that it's about time, especially looking at our constitution and what it says with regards to democracy. We'll go back and read a few messages. But Atik, he did mention that for the NPP, he's surprised because you are a party that you're heavy on democracy.
So, he made a comment. He said NPP members... He said, I think the comment has to do with belittling our minds on issues like this when it has to do with democracy, because he said we have been a champion of democracy. So he is surprised that somebody will make such an infantile comment against the name change. You see, the fact that we're a law lecturer, all right? The fact that you're a law lecturer doesn't mean that I have sense than anybody sitting here. No. So when you speak, when you call in, all right, you have to also choose your words well, because you might also get what you brought in. We should know some of us have a very good return policy, all right? You just don't call in and say, the MP person sitting there shouldn't make he should make infantile thought. But what shows that your comment that you also made was that sensible? We all have, no, he made it in a general comment. It was a general comment. It was a general comment that he made.
He made a general comment to the air?
He made a general comment.
Those who are opposing.
He used the word infantile, which I also feel like is very insulting, because what shows that your comment there was also not infantile, because it is a view that we all hold politically, all right? He has his political view about it. I also have my political view about it. I think there's not a matter of priority. He also feels like as we at the point that we find ourselves in as a nation, we are not supposed to go into this. He says that no, this is a topic that he thinks that we should give much energy and focus to. So we all have different views about it. I'm not calling his thought infantile, and I'm not calling his thought infantile. But you get called in and you say, the comment that you are making seems to be infantile. But what shows that his comment was also not infantile? We all have different opinions. If you are talking about respect for democracy, you should respect what I'm saying, as I also respect what he's saying. The fact that we are a champion of democracy doesn't mean that we do not have certain opposing view. And I have opposing view as a person. It's just simple as that.
All right, Justice is back, and so he was making a point with regards to the legal implications to the name change. Justice, unfortunately, your line went off.
Yes, sorry. What I was saying was that this may involve a lot of time and money. The name changing, quite strict, it doesn't involve much by the. I do not think that need a parliamentary happen. But if you do, that's any such long time. I've never expected that if it requires.
We can't hear you at all. We can't at all. It's a struggle to hear you, Justice. Unfortunately, I'm so sorry. It's quite difficult. So I'm going to have to read a few of the comments that I have so many comments coming in, and that's why I want to read them, because the comments are quite many. It looks like people are very interested in this name change. Alhaji Hamza from Pig Farm says, good morning, Roslyn. Roslyn, I want to find out from you that what is so wicked than people who organize themselves and give a flower with bomb inside it to an innocent small girl to kill Nkrumah, and not forgetting that the small girl was also going to die together with Nkrumah. This was the works of the anti-Nkrumah people. Are you aware that this was the same people who traveled to the UK to tell Queen of England that Ghana was not ready for independence, but Nkrumah told the Queen into the face that we need independence now? I am even surprised that the airport is not named after Nkrumah. Kotoka name is not qualified to be there because he was a traitor. The name of the airport was already Accra International Airport, but it changed after the coup succeeded and Kotoka name was put up there to reward him. It is sad. Trying hard to rewrite the history of this country to undermine and verify Nkrumah will not succeed. Okay. Nane Kuamwa says that good morning, Roslyn. First of all, a special birthday to Bernard Nane Champo. Okay, we'll do the birthday things, when it's birthday time, Nana. Anyway, it appears this government doesn't really know why Ghanaians voted for them. Renaming schools and now airport. Tomorrow, you wake up, they've renamed Ghana. Is this the pressing issue that is affecting ordinary citizens? What of the Galamsey fight? Is our water bodies clean? Well, he's asking this question. This is Political Jude, UDS TESCON president. Good morning to you, Commander Atik, the incoming National Youth Organizer. Good submission. We stand with you on supporting the change of Kotoka International Airport to Accra International Airport. The NDC's research agenda has turned to unnecessary doings, and Ghanaians are watching clearly. Okay. Good morning, Rose. It's good to rename Kotoka International Airport because it's an abomination to name our main airport after a coup maker and a traitor who conspired with colonialists to sabotage the progress of Ghana. Indeed, the change is long overdue because we cannot continue to glorify nation wreckers as the national heroes. This is the day the Lord has made. We'll rejoice and be glad in it. Psalm 118 verse 24. Say amen. Hey, wow.
Amen.
Wow. All right. Michael from Spintex says, good morning, Roslyn, and to your panelists, especially the two Voltarians who don't support the bad doing of their own person. I believe if not because of the bad ideals of some selfish political character of some Ghanaians who plot and betray Kwame Nkrumah for their personal benefits for selling and distraction of his legacy, such as factories, warehouse, and some policies which would yield benefits in the next generation. Truly, we can't celebrate people who betrayed our great leader. The name of the airport must be totally changed. Thanks. Okay. Good morning. Atik is saying the Tamale Airport name was changed in 2025. That's very true. Can he tell viewers whether that was the first time the name of the airport was changed? His party NPP changed the name to Yakubu Tali Airport, who was an NPP activist. If in 2025 it was reversed to its original name, Tamale Airport, what is wrong with that? Salifu from Tamale. Okay, Salifu. A Consul Gariba from Tamale says, good morning, Rosalind. The renaming of Kotoka International Airport is unnecessary and misplaced of the country's priorities. President Mahama should stop dancing to the tune of the sycophants around him. What Ghanaians need now is money in the system to reduce the current hardships the people in Ghana are going through. My regards to DMB and congratulations to your team as well. Hassan Sise from Zenu Central says, good morning to everyone. The renaming of the airport is in the right direction. The NPP always have the appetite of changing names of institutions to their grandfathers without building one. In fact, Nana Akufo-Addo in 8 years was busy renaming our universities for his party leaders. Some of these people, which this institution have been renamed, were enemies and betrayers of the state. Meshak Asante from Amsterdam says Dr. Baumia can continue being a leader for the NPP political party, but to be a leader for Ghana, dear, never. How can we vote for someone who thinks one Ghana card? Okay, so the time is not here to vote for him or not to vote for him. So fantastic. It's Ibrahim Bule Lakeside Community 8. The Kotoka International Airport was established in 1959 and it was named Accra International Airport, and it was later changed to Kotoka International Airport in 1969 when he was killed by some patriotic citizens for overthrowing Dr. Kwame Nkrumah, who fought hard to gain independence for Ghana 6th of March 1957. So the changing of the name to Accra International Airport is the right direction. Okay. Good morning, Rosalind. What does the renaming of Kotoka International Airport mean to the unpaid cocoa farmers, teachers, and nurses? I cringe sometimes when we spend precious time talking about the renaming of national facilities. The NDC in opposition opposed this move, and today they are still engaged in the same issue. Let's be serious as a country and focus more on bread and butter issues that affect the youth of the country. Unemployment is on the rise, and that should be our major concern as a country. Let's not dwell so much on trivial matters. Shalom, Abdullahi Abdul Razik Tamale. All right, I'll do just about 2 of them, and then I can sit down. Hi, good morning, madam. I honestly think Mr. Sumah is not saying what he's supposed to say, but rather out of emotions. Renaming has no economic benefit. If he thinks Ghana will not glorify any traitor, then glorifying the dead is tantamount to total failure. The fact that Sumah believes in the ideas of Nkrumah doesn't mean everyone must believe. We must learn to create jobs for youth rather than glorifying the dead. NDC government has failed Ghanaians already. The newly recruited teachers are demanding for their salaries, arrears that are due them, and Mohamedou Tikam Noah. Thank you so much, Mohamedou, for sending that. Kwame Acidity Ahafo Etrinswa. What are the current state of exchange rate and the inflation? Dr. Baumia, mismanagement of Ghana economy. Well, okay, this is different from our conversation this morning. See, our topic we are discussing is very, very deep. Good morning, Joy Prime. Any serious government in our current state of economy will be busy in getting the teeming youth unemployment jobs, stop galamsey menace, teachers and nurses who are waiting for employment, high cost of electricity bill, high cost of school fees, etc. will not engage in renaming state institutions. Changing or renaming of state institutions will not bring food to the ordinary Ghanaians. We have sold out our color TV for black and white. Aziz Bayo from Dafiama Bisu. Okay, thank you very much for sending that. Last one. Last one, I promise you, last one. The sad story of the governance today is simple. Come to power, lower CD to our currencies, rather tend to increase the cost of living for ordinary citizens. Ghanaians are burdened with endless increments, electricity tariffs, water tariffs, driving license, and other DVLA charges. One Ghana cedi increase per litre of fuel under the so-called Doomsday levy. Yet, with all these painful increases, government sector workers are given only 9% salary increment. This is not just unfair, it's an insult. We are warning labor unions to wake up and stop sleeping with this government. History will judge them harshly. This government has clearly shown that it does not care about public sector workers. All right, thank you so much. Thank you all for sending your messages. So this all time will permit with regards to the messages. But Richard.
Yeah. Well, sincerely, I want to talk about those who test and say renaming is not necessary and they should concentrate on creating jobs, especially the NPP testers. I want to ask them a simple question. When their government was busily renaming universities, where were they? Were they sleeping? Were they not in this country when NPP was busily renaming universities? Were they? So where from this hypocrisy and sycophancy? Name changes are very important. Didn't God himself change the name of Abraham? Didn't God change the name of Abraham? Didn't he? So anybody who tells you that names don't have, changing of name has no significance, it is warped knowledge. You see?
So this one, the significance is?
Because, like someone is, it is your major point of entry.
Okay.
So if today you are teaching history or somebody is young, don't forget that generations will go, generations will come. Okay? Maybe somebody today will Google, what is the history of Kotoka? Maybe he's a foreigner. He's coming to Ghana for the first time. Then he hears the name Kotoka International Airport. Obviously, it rings a bell. The person might want to go and check what is Kotoka International Airport. And then the person go and read that somebody who led a coup to overthrow a democratically elected president and then was killed, and therefore he was given a name after your major point of entry. It's quite a significant one. So, as a matter of fact, renaming that airport is significant, not only for us today, for generations to do what? To come, because history will not ever lie. Then my last point about the issue that was also tabled for us to discuss, but we couldn't have the opportunity to do, has to do with the government, outgoing government, employing people.
We are going to talk about it briefly.
Briefly?
Yes.
Okay, so I should just conclude on that.
You can talk about it though, but
okay.
just questions people are asking. It's been a year. Why now? Why are they now opening that conversation again? Because minority has been calling for this probe since last year. So what has changed now, and what is going to happen to these people who have been sacked?
Yeah. So as a matter of fact, like I keep saying, I don't mince my words. The hypocrisy in this country is just too much. Too much hypocrisy everywhere. And I'm entitled to my opinion and entitled to whatever I think I want to say, because the Ghanaians are the ultimate judge. I'm not here to please the sentiments of anybody. Never. They say what is good for the goose is equally good for what? The gander. Don't forget that. Now, when a government is outgoing, You had the opportunity for a several period of years to create jobs, meaningful, tangible jobs, well-befitting jobs to your citizens. Not this kind of mushroom jobs, okay? Not mushroom jobs. Job that has only lifespan of 1 year, 2 years. When you even employ them, you cannot even pay them. You can't pay them because you see, our scale of preference as a country is not proper. We don't have our priority list. What must follow the other? So they'll wait and wait and wait and wait. As I'm talking to you now, there are NDC people who are also craving for jobs. They want jobs. And assuming without admitting that they are not able to create sufficient jobs. And like I said, like what my brother Atik said, that factories are very, very, very important. I would have loved to see a government that prioritized establishment of factories. Because, my dear Rosalind, when the budget was read the last time, you noted that it said manufacturing grew at 3.2%. Which country does that? A country that wants to create jobs, meaningful, tangible jobs, manufacturing must not be doing anything less than 15%. So I want to admonish NDC government that if they really want us to take them seriously, they should put aside every other policy and make sure they invest everything humanly possible in manufacturing to make sure manufacturing scale up from 3.2% to not anything less than 15% before we go into the next election. If not so, they will face the fire. Because that is the only way we can create a job. Because right now I meet a lot of them who are still craving, they have no jobs. Now they say, oh, there are some people we used to test each other when we were campaigning. Now that some of them have gotten the opportunity to become CEOs, you call them, they don't pick, you test them, they don't reply. Anything you do to them, they say, oh, boss, nyabutre kakra. But when you were fighting for power, there was no nyabutre kakra. Any minute you send them a message, they respond. Now, if at the end of the day, they are going into the next election and they lose, all of a sudden, all the party apparatchiks who have never been able to be satisfied, they now come to realization that we need to find something for them to do. Therefore, we are going to employ 500,000 of them at a go. Qualified or not qualified. Do you think when the next administration comes, they will clap for them? They will not clap for you. They will sack all of them. NDC did so, NPP did so, and then when NPP is going, they did so again. So I'm appealing to the government or to the parliament. They should pass a bill. They should pass a law that will place a caveat on any action or inaction that an outgoing government can ever do.
Okay. To
place a caveat that maybe if you're an outgoing government, don't employ anybody to the public sector.
Okay.
Don't do B, don't do C. Allow the incoming government to come and take over from you.
Richard, after. Why do you think they haven't done this all this well? Don't you think it's because both of them benefit?
That's what I'm saying, that they don't create the jobs. They will be doing the talking. The talking is above the work. Talk only, no action. So I'm pleading with the NDC government that the 24-hour economy that they talk about, look, nobody in voter registry will go to whole passport office 2 a.m. say I'm going for passport. Why? Is he a ghost?
Richard.
But if there are factories in Japan, if there are factories in Ojo, if there are factories in the Nordu enclave, they can go there and go and work 2 a.m., 3 a.m., 4 a.m.
Now and they are no ghosts?
No.
Okay.
Because they need to go and be productive. But going to DVLA office 1 a.m., it's only ghosts that will do that.
Okay, Richard.
So they should put a caveat. That is a very cardinal aspect. Especially they should pass a law that you cannot employ in public sector. You cannot take decisions that will embed the incoming government. So there should be some caveat on that, but they can look at it and say which things that should they not do. Okay. What can they allow them to do after the 7th December election when a new government is taking over? Are you getting the point? I think that is something that we need to look at.
1 minute Matthias and 1 minute Asika on this particular topic.
And to congratulate NDC for changing the name of Kotoka Airport. I appreciate that so much.
Yes.
Oh, good.
1 minute, please, Matthias.
Yeah, sure. So I still maintain that I side with Richard that I think the lacuna should be cured through either an act of parliament or we take advantage of the constitutional review process to build in safeguards, I mean, with regard to what a government can do and cannot do after losing power. So we will not go and keep coming. I think that the utter hypocrisy of the MPP as a party is beyond my imagination. In 2001, when Osafo Mafo was being vetted as finance minister. And then these issues came to the fore that the NDC has employed, or the NDC government at the time have employed some people after they lost the power. He said that, who is going to take care of those? That when they take over fully, or he assumed office as finance minister, they're going to look for the books. And if those people are there, they're just going to let them off quietly. Because the question is, how did you get in? They didn't see anything wrong, and the NDC didn't contest it, because I think there's some, they have some moral high ground to question so. But time with that number, they are the worst culprits. And I talk of 2009 when they were leaving office. They did not only just employ, but they went ahead to increase salaries fourfold under the single spine salary structure. It became a burden for them, President Mills, and then His Excellency John Dramani Mahama regime. It took a while for the government to be able to shoulder it and implemented it, because you had then a true Democrat, a compassionate leaders in the person of our late President Mills and then His Excellency John Dramani Mahama. Yet again, the MPP found itself in office in 2016, and then when they were leaving, they did same. But this time around, they are the same people who come back to complain. So I think that we just need to cure the mischief, either through an act of parliament to build in safeguards, or through the constitutional review process. Let it be clear about what a government can do and cannot do, especially when you lose power. The new government is coming in. I think when that is done, all these noises will not come to us again.
Matthias, I think 1 minute, please.
Yeah. You see, one of the major campaign policies of of the NDC that made them gain a lot of votes and got the youth following them was the 24-hour economy. They made it simple: 1 job, 3 shifts. So if the current public sector workers are, let's say, around 1.3 million, right, they were just going to increase it by 3. So people felt like, okay, then I think that we should go with this government because they are going to employ us. Question that people didn't know, or the ignorance that people were also dealing with, was that they didn't know that when government employs you, all right, there should be more taxes from people to pay you. Now, government sells the lie. The NDC sells the lie. This government sold that lie. The youth bought into it, and now they are in power, and they cannot execute the 24-hour economy. Their only avenue was to make sure they just get some people out and employ their people. And the excuse was getting people who were employed within 3 months to the general elections out. Because they were saying that the MEP was losing election, they were losing elections, so they just have to employ their people in. So they raised so much issues with it. In fact, MEP also made a lot of politics with it, saying that if you elect NDC, when they come, they are going to make sure they make you unemployed and employ their people. Then President Mahama comes with a statement on the campaign podium, that's November 26, 2024, said we are not like MPP. We won't sack you like they did in 2017. So, Matthias, the hypocrisy that you're talking about is here.
Okay.
Yeah, it's here.
Anyway, on that note, I just want to say a very big thank you to my guest for being here. We are super grateful that he made time this morning. I had Richard Sumah, who is the Deputy General Secretary for United Party, join us. Thank you so much, Richard, for being here. Atiki Yakubu, who is a part of the communications team for the MPP, and yes, he's vying to become the youth organizer for the NPP. So if you are a delegate, we vote for him. And also Matthias Alagbo, who is the Volta Regional Youth Organizer for the NDC, also joined us. Thank you so much, gentlemen, for being here. We are grateful.
We appreciate it.
Tomorrow is my birthday, though.
Glorious happy birthday, darling.
Thank you very much. But you can't come away.
Oh, don't worry.
I trust you.
Your cake will be here.
No, I don't want cake. I want money.
You want money?
Yes.
Government is bad. Just time check now. Go.